All right. Tonight, our main speaker is Kat. Please help me welcome Kat.
Hi, my name's Kat. I'm an alcoholic. I wasn't nervous until I saw the microphone, and I've never spoken to a microphone except on trial in court, and that wasn't fun either. But I'm sure this will be better. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Anyways, I guess I'll start at the beginning. I was born in Minnesota. My mother was married to my father, and he is full-blown alcoholic, bipolar, depression. And I really don't remember the first 6 years of my life except traumatic events. And that would be my father beating me and my brother, trying to kill my mother, just not fun stuff. And then my mom met the love of her life. Her name is Jennifer. And they've been together now for 20 years. And and her wife, Jen, is the best person I've ever met. She's really the glue to our family, and I'm very blessed that she's a part of our lives and that she took on my mom's crazy and all of our crazy, because I'm the middle child, there's my younger brother, and then my older sister, and we're all insane. Better? And we're all a little crazy. We all have our own issues. But I'm the only one that's been in prison. And that was hard on the whole family. And when I was out there, making my decisions, my motto was, I'm not hurting anybody, so let me do what I want to do. But I was just lying to myself. I was physically hurting people, and I was just in denial. I was emotionally hurting my whole family. And so growing up, having Jen come into our lives, she really instilled core beliefs as family first, and how family is so important and you need to always be there for your family. And someone who's not blood related to us to have that kind of dedication was amazing. Obviously when I was 7, I didn't think that, but now growing up, I look back and she really instilled a lot of morals and beliefs that when I started drinking, it's like I forgot all those things. The alcohol drowned my memory of core beliefs and what's important to me. And so in high school, so I've been this height. I'm 6'1", for anyone who was wondering. I'm 6'1", and I've been this height since middle school. And so everybody made fun of me. I was too skinny. I was too tall. I had bad acne. Nobody liked me just because I was different. And there was only 2 white people at my school, so that they picked on me for that too, and that's not my fault. But so I just feel like I didn't have any friends. I didn't fit in. So I started fighting people. My older sister, she told me, well, if these people are going to make fun of you, you need to stand your ground. So I started fighting people. And the first fight I got into was in the 3rd grade. And it's because somebody was making fun of my brother, because he used to have a real big gap in between his front teeth. He doesn't anymore, but he used to. And I used to call him Gappy. And then somebody at school started calling him Gappy, and so I went and beat that kid up. And I didn't get in trouble. My mom said, okay, good job, you stuck up for your brother, And so then when I got older, and my sister told me I need to stick up for myself, that's what I did. I started fighting people. And then I really had no friends, because then everyone was afraid of me. Now I'm a 6'1" white girl that's too skinny who beats people up. So that didn't work out. And then the summer between middle school and high school, that's when everything changed for me. My mom never really had friends, and she actually had friends, and her friends drank. So my mom was always having parties at her house. Or we would go to her friend's house, and they had all their kids, and I was supposed to hang out with their kids, but we would steal all the liquor, and we would drink. And so then I dyed my hair, I got piercings, I felt different. I felt like I could fit in. So come high school, I failed my first and second period simply because I didn't get up to go to school. My attendance was so poor that they just failed me. So my sophomore year, winter break, my birthday is the day after winter break ends. And so I turned 16. So I went into the office, and this was my mother's idea. I went into the office and dropped out. I said, well, this is not for me. I'm just going to work because I need money. And I'm going to get a license, so I need a car. I just can't go to school. So I got my GED, and I'm not bragging, but I did so well in my GED that the Casa Grande College offered me a 2-year scholarship. And that's one of those things where I look back now and I'm like, man, if I would have just taken that, but I didn't, and that's okay. But yeah, when they said, okay, you can come here for 2 years, I said, no. I dropped out of school so I didn't have to go to school. Thank you. And I mean, that was my 16 years old mind. Like, no, thank you. And so then I started working for Quick Trip in Casa Grande. And they told me if I work at the graveyard shift, I get an extra like 20 cents an hour for danger pay because it's so dangerous. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, okay, cool, more money. And I started going to all these like Kager parties in Casa Grande and just and I was always the youngest there. And I had the key to you know how the gas stations, they lock all the alcohol down at 2 o'clock? Well, I had the key. So I would just have people come in, and I would unlock it, and then I would text them and be like, okay, it's unlocked, and I would go in the back room, because I only worked with one other person. So I would say, hey, I need help. So I would, so then they would go into the store and steal whatever they want, and then pick me up at 10 in the morning, and day drinking begins. And I drove a lot when I was intoxicated. I drove a lot, and I still thank my higher power that I never hurt somebody on accident. I did hit somebody on purpose, and and I got charged with that. That was a part of my prison sentence. But yeah, that I never accidentally hurt somebody. Like, I ran into a lot of trees and bushes and stuff, but never an actual person or a child or anything, thank God. Okay, so yeah, years go on, and now I'm 18, and I move out of the state. I move up to Minnesota because that's, where I'm from. And I lived with my dad's first wife. She was an alcoholic. I didn't know that before I moved in. So she would let me, at 18 years old, just give her money, and she would go get me whatever I wanted. I thought I was living the perfect life. And the stairs were carpet, and I fell down the stairs. And I hurt my ankle real bad, and I just thought, whatever. But I was drunk. There was alcohol all over the wall from me falling, and it was no big deal. I just went to sleep. And then my cousin came over the next day, and he's 1 year younger than me, and he's like, this house smells terrible. And I was like, oh, I don't know why. That's weird. Let's leave. But the house really did smell terrible because Leanne was her name, my dad's first wife. Leanne spilled alcohol everywhere. I spilled alcohol everywhere, and we just didn't care because we were too drunk to care about anything. So prior to 18, the last time I had seen my dad, I was 6 years old. And he had forgotten my birthday, and I was sad. I remember kind of being sad. But then he forgot my baby brother's birthday, and I told my mom, I don't want to talk to him anymore. So that was the last time I was 6 years old. And then when I was 18, I was in a grocery store in Minnesota, and I saw him, and he saw me. And I ran after him. I tried to choke him. I ran after him. And I had no idea what a resentment was or whatever. I just knew that I hated this man. And I told myself for a long time that I hated him because he abandoned his firstborn son. Because I was the third girl. But my brother was the first son. He has a lot of kids now. He's on like his 4th, 5th marriage. He's got a lot of kids. But his firstborn son, that was like a big deal to me for some reason. I'm like, oh, you're an asshole, whatever. And so then it started snowing in June. And so I called my mother here in Arizona, and I said, I have to come back. It's snowing, and it's supposed to be like the 4th of July soon. I can't do this. So she made a deal with me. She said, if you let me teach you how to deal blackjack, you can move back. Because my mother and her wife were blackjack dealers, and they didn't go to college. And they could support our whole family with this job. And I said, okay, deal. That sounds like fun. So she flew me back like 2 days later, and I learned how to deal blackjack. And I made a lot of money. I made a lot. And to be 18 and to have all that money, I spent it all on alcohol. I had this little badge from the casino, and it said Bucky's Casino on it. So I would wear that into the liquor store, and then I forgot my ID. But look, I work at the casino. I have to be 21. So they always sold it to me. So once again, I thought I had it made, like perfect. I don't have to, call anybody. I don't have to make friends. So then I became an isolated drinker for a long time, and that got really bad. And then in the break room at work, I think I was like 19, this guy said, hey, you want to hang out? And I said, yeah, sure. So I invite him over to my place, and then we become best friends. Like, I was friends with this guy for like 2.5 years, but we drank every single day. And it was no big deal because now I had someone who did it with me. I didn't really think I had a problem. I mean, I'm young, I make a lot of money. Who cares? I have a car and a house, and my life was manageable. And then I ended up switching casinos. I went and worked at Cliff Castle for a while. And when I was working at Cliff Castle, I met, I used to call him my soulmate. Definitely not that. But I met this amazing guy, and for the first 4 months of our relationship, anytime we hung out, we did ecstasy and drank. And so, I thought he was awesome. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's so cool. He rides dirt bikes, oh my God. Like, I was like obsessed. And then I got pregnant. And this is how you know I'm a true alcoholic. I was hanging out with my friend Amanda, and we were drinking, and I told her, listen, I think I'm pregnant. And she said, well, why don't you take a test? I said, because if the test says positive, I can't drink anymore. So I took the test, and it said positive, and I drank again. Like, I didn't see that. I was in denial. And then the next day, because I couldn't just, stop right there. I was not ready for that. So then the next day, I stopped drinking. And I didn't drink through my pregnancy. But I smoked cigarettes, and I popped pills. I switched one addiction for another. And my, alcoholics were amazing at justifying, rationalizing, and minimizing. And so I would sleep at night by telling myself, okay, well, the doctor knows I'm pregnant. And the doctor's prescribing me this stuff, so it's okay. But I wasn't following, as prescribed. So definitely abused those. And then my daughter, so my relationship with my daughter's father was horrible. Once I got sober, I realized I do not like this guy at all. I don't know what I was thinking. We have nothing in common. Like, I want to move around. I want to go on hikes. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he wants to stay at home. He wants to buy a house and just be very stable. And I wanted to be very unstable and free-spirited. And so we did not get along at all. And then he got very abusive because I started to speak my mind. I was done with staying at home all the time. You got me messed up. I'm not staying here all the time. And then so he started hitting me and locking me in the house. He would go to work, and then I would just go to the gas station or something because I was terrified to go any farther because God forbid somebody sees me and I get my ass beat. And then he would come back and he'd be like, the mileage on your car said this when I left this morning. Now it says this. Where did you go? And I would tell him, and he would literally look on the GPS to see if that's how many miles, if I was telling the truth. And so I felt like a caged animal. But I only fought back one time, and then he kneed me in the stomach, and I was pregnant. So I never fought back again because God forbid something happens to this little baby that I'm supposed to protect. So yeah, I never fought back until after she was born. And then that's when all the criminal charges started adding up. because I never called the cops on him, because I still thought I was in love, and he would always tell me, well, don't you want a family? Don't you want to have a family? Because when I told him I was pregnant in the very beginning, I was terrified. I said, I don't want to have a kid. I'm not mother material. I cannot do this. And he told me, he promised me it was going to be okay. We were going to be a family, and we were always going to be together. And I grabbed onto that, what he said, and I held on to that for so long. Because I thought that if I were to leave, then my daughter was going to grow up without a father like I did. And I didn't want that for her. Sorry. That's why I didn't want to have any kids in the first place, because I didn't trust somebody to be there and stay there. Anyways, so she's born February of 2016, and she's the cutest little thing in the world. I thought I was going to have a fat baby, because I was born like 9 pounds, he was born like 10 pounds. I thought I was going to have a fat baby. So I told everyone at my baby shower, don't give me newborn clothes, because that would stop at 8 pounds. She was only born 5 pounds, 15 ounces. So then now I'm crying in the hospital, like, oh my God, I have nothing, I'm not prepared. But my brother handled that. My brother's my best friend. He handled that. He went straight to the store. And he brought me back Mountain Dew, because I didn't drink Mountain Dew during my pregnancy, and that's my favorite thing. So he brought me a whole thing of Mountain Dew and a bunch of baby clothes. So she was born February 25th. Well, by the time St. Patrick's Day rolled around, I was now 21 officially, and I went out. And that's when all the drinking started again. I couldn't stop after that. And I thought in my head, okay, I'm going to go out, like mothers do. I'm going to go out, and then I'm going to come home, and I'm going to stay home. It did not work like that at all. I went back after my maternity leave. I went back to Cliff Castle, and I started getting off early, but staying just to drink. So I would drive all the way from Cliff Castle to here. It was like 50 miles drunk, and most of the time I didn't even remember coming home. But I thought that I was okay, because I would get up in the morning, I would take care of my daughter, I would do it, and so I thought my life's not unmanageable. And then Stella was 6 weeks old, and me and her father were trying to come up with an agreement for parenting time. And so I went over to his house, and he convinced me that we were going to be in a relationship again. We were going to make this work. And I said, okay, I believe you. I remember saying this to him, I believe you, but if you're lying, I will kill you. And so the next day, we bring all, because our papers have to say the exact same thing for an agreement to be made. So we're filling out all the paperwork, and then we get to the last page. It's going well, it's going good. We get to the last page where it says her name. And so I wrote Stella Marie and then my last name. And he wrote a completely different name, like first name and everything. And I said, whoa. That's not what this is going to say. I said, we can hyphenate our last names. I'll even let you put your name first. But we're not changing her first name. That's crazy. And he's like, you can't name your daughter after a beer. And I said, well, I did. So there's no going back now. So at least her middle name's not Artois. Anyways, so he told me that I was crazy and whatever, and that we're not going to be together. And I said, you know what? I told you I was going to kill you. So I start choking him out. And and then he has a recorder in his pocket. So he pulls this recorder out, and he's like, I got you now, whatever. So I'm freaking out now. I grab Stella, go in the car, and I go home. And I'm very good at being in denial. So I'm like, okay, that didn't happen. I have to go to work. So I get ready to go to work, and I'm on my way to work, and I have to pass the exit to his house to go to work. And I don't know what happened, but I took that exit instead of going to work. And I go up to his house, and his mom answers the door, and she's like telling me, he's not here, whatever. And I said, I know he's here. Both of his cars are here. Anyways, long story short, I end up getting in a fist fight with his mother. And then she told me I have to leave. I said, fine, I'm leaving. And she was like watching me leave, and for some reason that really, really like set something off. So I keyed his car on my way out, and then I ran into her with my car. And then I was like, well, I can't go to work now because the cops are definitely going to be at my work. And I'm not getting charged with this. She deserved that. She's crazy. That's what I was thinking. And so instead of going to work, I go to Flagstaff. And on my way to Flagstaff, I call my mom, and I said, Mom, I'm throwing my phone out the window so nobody can track me. You know, I'm all paranoid and whatever. I stop in Camp Verde, and I get hair dye and more vodka. Like, I've completely lost my mind at this point. And then I'm in Flagstaff for like 3 days, and I don't remember anything. I know that I did not go by my name. My best friend was even in on it. He was calling me a different name, and it was just so dramatic. Now that I look back at it, it's just so dramatic, and it was such a waste of time because even when I came back, I still got arrested. So it was either stay away forever and never see my daughter again or come back and face it. And I walked into the courthouse or into the police station in Prescott Valley because I got this paperwork. I was served with paperwork, and the police report said that I was drunk. And I said, I was not drunk in that moment. So I went in to go tell the cops that, and they arrested me. And then I was like so appalled. I was like, how can this happen? So then I spend like 8 days in jail. That's it. I spent 8 days, and they put me on probation and whatever. But within that 8 days, he got full custody of my daughter. And when I got out of jail and went home and my daughter was not there, I went straight downtown. I said, what am I supposed to do? I can't go back to work. You can't work at a casino with a felony. I can't go back to work. I don't have a kid anymore. So I went right back downtown. And I drank again, and I didn't stop until I got arrested, like a year and a half later. I drank every single day, and I don't remember a lot of it, especially towards the end. Like, I'll have like a memory of something come up, but I can't tell you where I was, what day it was, what month it was. I don't know. And during this, I was going to court to try to get visitations, and I got some, but I stopped going. Those core beliefs about family first, like I said in the beginning, all those drowned away. They were gone. And my disease had convinced me that I am not mother material, that she is better without me. So I have to go. And so then I started using drugs, and because of this girl, once again, I thought I was in love, whatever. And I like devoted all my time, my money, my scamming, the money I got from scamming people. I spent it all on her and our alcohol and whatever. And then that didn't go well because she thought that I stole shrooms from her purse, and she broke up with me when they were in there the whole time. But so then after she left, now I didn't have anything. My family had left me. They are not letting me go to their house. And Stella's father has people around town, like, stalking me, like taking pictures of me to use in court to get my rights severed. I clearly remember I was downtown one night, and I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I sat on the curb, and I fell asleep. And I woke up because there was a flash. Someone had taken a picture of me. And I said, great, that's wonderful. And that's another one to him. Awesome. And I got to see all these pictures. After I was clean and sober for a year, I got to see all these pictures that were taken of me in court. And I was so embarrassed and ashamed because out there I thought I was cool. You know, I thought I was the cutest, the funniest, whatever. All that stuff that I was insecure about when I was drunk like that, I thought that I had it all. And I looked horrible. I did not have it all. I looked terrible. Definitely too skinny then. I had like marks on my neck from like scratching myself all the time. I just looked tore back. So now I partner up. This is now 2017, okay? I partner up with this guy, and we're, out there doing, running the streets, whatever. And he gets like really mad at me because I don't want to be with him. He's like an older guy, and I just thought we were friends. And he took me out into the desert, out way past, I don't know, like right before you hit the hill, you know where Sunset Point is? Like right before you hit that, we were way out there, and he beat the shit out of me. Like hardcore. And when we were driving back into town, I thought, this guy's going to kill me. I am going to die. So I took all my money, and we went to the liquor store, and I got everything that I could purchase, because if I'm going to die, I'm not going to remember it. That was my theory. If this is really going to happen, I'm not going to be conscious for this. Screw that. And then he said, do you want to go to the casino? It's ladies' night. And I said, yeah, sure, cool. And we go, and I see my brother, and because he worked there. And I see my brother, and I had a warrant out for probation because I just stopped checking in. Like, I'm not going to, that's a waste of my time. So I just stopped doing all that. And my brother knew I had a warrant, and he called the police, and he told them that I had a warrant out for my arrest. And at first, when I found out it was him, I thought somebody was lying to me. I thought it was a joke. I thought somebody was really messing with me. And then he didn't talk to me for 2.5 years. And it's because he didn't know that they were going to sentence me to prison. He felt bad. He didn't know, and he doesn't drink. He's young. And he thought that they were going to put me in a rehab or something. But instead, I got a 3-year sentence to prison. And I tell him now, and I wrote him, like, thank you, because I probably was going to die. Either all my bodily functions are going to shut down because of my alcohol level, or this man is going to kill me. So I really think that was a God shot, definitely, and that ladies' night and my brother's shift were the same. Everything just aligned so perfect where I got arrested. And I tried to run. I really did try to run, but I didn't know where to go. I'm running in circles. And then eventually, he tackles me to the ground and whatever. And this was a big guy. I don't know why I thought I could outrun him. He was bigger than me. And I actually just saw him at the Jack in the Box on Saturday. And he came in and he said, do I know you? And he was not in his uniform. I said, I don't know. I don't think so. And then I asked him later, I said, are you a cop? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I asked if I know you. And I said, no, listen, thank you. Because since that date, August 4th, 2017, I have not drinking. I have not used. I have not abused prescriptions. I haven't even taken narcotics or anything like that. So I thanked this cop. And I'm still working on my resentment towards cops. Like when I pass a cop car, I'm like, but now I'm trying not to do that anymore because this cop was just doing his job. I was being a criminal, he was doing his job, and he saved my life that day, along with my brother who called him. So thank you to that guy. I'm going to try not to flip off his squad anymore. So I get sentenced to 3 years in prison, and that's where I found AA, and it was an accident. I was going to the library to get a new book, and they were having a meeting. And I didn't want to look like an asshole. When they said, oh, come sit down, I didn't want to be like, oh, no. So I just sat down, and then I kept going. And there was only like 5 girls in this meeting, and they actually came to me on the prison yard and said, hey, we're having another meeting. Do you want to come? And I was worried about what she would think about me, so I said, oh, yeah, sure, I'll come. And thank God, because then I really got into it. And then I did my steps for the first time. And that was so emotional because I didn't even know what the word spiritual principle meant. I didn't know what resentment meant. I didn't know that I had all these issues. And it took me a long time to say I am an alcoholic because my father is an alcoholic. My father's bipolar. My father, all these things that I never wanted to be, it turns out that's who I am. So when I finally said I am an alcoholic, I was like crying so much I almost threw up because I just didn't want to do it. But I had to. And now I can say it no problem because I'm grateful for this program and for this way of life. Like Jerry says all the time, forever grateful for this way of life because now I have the skills that I didn't have to be a mother and to be a sister and a daughter. And I was so selfish and self-centered, and I didn't, of course, when you're in that moment, you don't realize that you're being that way. And a few weeks ago, I got frustrated with my mom because I just got out of prison 7 weeks ago. So we're online trying to figure out insurance or something, and I just was like, I can't do this, and I got so frustrated and I left. And then I'm outside, and I'm like, gosh darn it, now you step 10. Now I have to go in there and say, hey, sorry, I got kind of bitchy. And that's what I did, and she started crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? And she's like, because the old you would have never even known that you were being that way. And that kind of took me back, wow. All these things that I justified and rationalized and minimized and said that I wasn't hurting anybody, I was hurting the people that love me the most. And now I can say that I'm really loving people that love me the most. And throughout prison, Stella's father was taking me to court, so they were always transporting me back and forth and back and forth. Because he told me, he said, this can all stop if you just sign your rights away. We can just stop all this. We can stop, because he kept delaying it on purpose because he knew what a process it was to get me transferred and whatever. So he would cancel last minute and delay it so then I would have to go all the way back to Goodyear and back and forth and whatever. And he was trying to break me. And he's like, this can all stop if you just sign your rights over. And I said, no way, no way. I already gave up on being a mother one time. What is my daughter going to think about me 10 years from now if I just said, okay, and signed her away? And all the terrible things that I've said about her father, he's a horrible boyfriend, but he's a wonderful father. Stella loves him so much. He cares a lot about her. So she's safe and she's happy. And he's just not a good significant other. But and I used to resent him for that. I used to blame, I had so much blech towards him. But I don't anymore because I have to look at who raised him and who raised his parents and look at where he came from and where I came from. And it's just so I really had to look into all of that, and I don't resent him at all anymore. And I never say anything ill about him in front of Stella. And I hope he doesn't say anything about me, but whatever. That's not, whatever. Anyways, so I won the trial for getting my rights severed. I won. And I still have my rights. And I just saw my daughter for the first time in 3 years 4 weeks ago. And to ever think that I left her really shows that our disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. Because this little girl is so amazing. And when she says, Mommy, I love you, I'm just like, I love you too. Our first visit, she kept saying, Mommy, Mommy. I'm like, oh, that's me. And I'm like, yeah. Because, that was the first time that I heard her voice. I heard her laugh. I got to smell her. It was just amazing. And now I haven't been to one of her birthday parties, and she's going to turn 4 this month. And I'm throwing her a party on Friday. And I'm so excited for it, to just be there. This program, has changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. Like Jerry said, the person that I was before this program and the person that I am now, it's astronomical, the difference. Because it's just, I mean, I actually care if I hurt people's feelings now. I care if I live. I did not care about that before. I care if I live. I care about everything, which was hard at first because I didn't want to care about anything. But now, I don't know, it's just to be in a room full of my family members and we're all laughing and it's genuine, no one's faking it just because it's a holiday, is the best gift ever. And it is true that whatever you put into the program is what you get out of it. And I'm putting everything I got into it. If I work half as hard for my recovery as I worked to get my next drink, I can do this one day at a time. And in the beginning, it was not one day at a time. It was like 1 hour at a time. But yeah, I don't know. My life is amazing. My life is absolutely amazing. I love myself, and that's genuine. And I didn't do that before. I believe in myself. That's new. And I believe in all of you guys. And it's just one day at a time. Don't drink no matter what. Because if we end this day sober and we get up tomorrow sober, we got a good chance of doing that whole day and helping another alcoholic. Because I can't keep what I have if I don't give it away. And that's why I'm up here sweating. And, but thank you all for being here. And I believe in all of you. So thank you.